All right. Hello. Hello. Your great schizoid savior has returned from beyond the grave. How's it going, guys? It's been a bit, right? For those that don't know, I had to take a break for a while because I didn't have a job and I just didn't have the headspace for like wanting to do this. I just, whenever money is involved, I just want it like to be fixed, and then because I hate thinking about it, so um, it's annoying. So, but now that I have work again, I can continue doing this. Yep. So, anyway, it only took like it took me like a long time. It took a long time. I put in so many applications for all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. It's the worst shit ever. Anyway, so quick updates. Still taking the same meds. Been a few weeks, I guess. Um, I mean, of like me not streaming. Nothing special to report about myself that at least I'm aware of. Oh wait, never mind. There is, but I'll save it to the end because it's not the topic I want to get into. But I'll save it. I'll save it to the end. Pretty weird update, I would say. Maybe it would make for its own stream. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Okay. So, is the audio okay? Everyone can hear me all right? It'd be great to give it get a thumbs up or something to see if it's working all right. The music's not too loud, and it looks like it's not picking up. Hello. Is it actually? Is it? Am I getting a lot of weird issues with the audio? It doesn't look like it's. Hello? There we go. I think that's what it was. Yeah, okay. There. That helps. I think it was just a setting on the microphone. Which I have a different one now. I have a littler one. Much more convenient. But yeah, I wanted to talk about schizoid stuff and then like politeness, civility, shit like that. I've noticed it's like a really mixed bag. And I'm wondering why. I'm wondering what some of the underlining differences are and why it kind of creates different kind of breeds of zoids out there. And what I mean is one of the features that is often referred to when it comes to schizoids is that they have kind of this apathy or indifference toward like conventional norms. They're kind of like either like they have to mask for them or they're bored of them. Okay. I'll lower it a little bit. It's just supposed to be in the background anyway. There we go. And it's just because I like it. It keeps me whatever. But yeah, there's supposed to be this kind of indifference toward that stuff. But I've noticed that like there's different zoids are like really sensitive or lack sensitivity toward like what would be considered like I guess normal polite things to be doing and saying, and then there's other ones that are like really just absolutely don't care, or they're even sometimes averse to them. And then there's people that are kind of in between there somewhere, and and kind of what some of the examples I would say I find interesting. I don't know. I would have assumed it was habitual, but there seems to be actually something deeper there. Like I've seen a lot of zoids that say hi to people when they like show up somewhere, whether it's like a VC call or something. They say hi. Oh hi. I'm like, to me that's I'm just like why? Like I mean I get it, but it's like it feels like everyone has to say hi. Like I always found that odd. Like if one person does it, why do the other people feel compelled to, even in chat? So I don't know. Um, I don't know. It's just weird thoughts like that. Other things are there are far more. It's like the way you speak, right? Like some people don't like what's the word, coarse or rough language. And again, that's one of those things where I'm like, I don't get it. I like rough language. I like rough language. I like crankiness. I like banter, combined with you know, sincere, um, but not sugar coated sort of speaking. Um, Conversation that isn't like wrought with like force civility, like weird shit. Because my issue is a lot of the stuff that's considered polite is stuff that I have to mask to do. And on top of that, a lot of stuff that's considered polite is preoccupied with things that me as a Zoid just does not give a shit about. Right? Like I don't need people to say bye to me when I leave the room. Um I don't really need to say bye to people when they leave my home. I'm told to by my wonderful wife. Um I think people expect it. I I understand intellectually why, but I don't understand why people that are obviously Zoids in every way care about doing this stuff. And I'm wondering if it's just habit or something. Like they've had to do it for so long, it's just like something that they got used to. Like I can't imagine too many Zoids that give a shit if people say bye to you when you leave, or hi to you when you arrive, as if it would be a faux pas not to do so. I can't imagine too many Zoids caring about that, giving a shit about getting salutations, whether it's in real life or in a like internet space. Um, so like if they do care, what is it they care? What is it they like about it or are interested in doing it for? Because regular people do give a shit about that stuff. Like if you arrive somewhere and like someone that you consider a friend doesn't like say hi to you when you get to the party or the get together, people have issues with that. They'll be like, "Wow, are they upset with me? They didn't even say hi when I got here." I prefer no one tell me hi. I prefer nobody tell me hi, and I wasn't required to say hello to everyone at the gathering without it having some kind of like weird social cause some kind of social confusion for people, right? So if all those preoccupations are things that most schizoids are just like, well, why do some of them still, even in chat and stuff, some of them still kind of like do a lot of these sorts of things? And let me extend it beyond like hi and bye and shit like that. Okay, I'm talking about like language too, right? Like let's just say somebody has an opinion and you think that opinion is poo poo. Instead of just sort of like saying like, I think that opinion is shit, this is why, they will avoid using like crass language. I have some theories as to why that may be. But it's weird. It's weird to see people. It's weird to see schizoids get bothered by harsh language. For me, because that's my experience. I want to know why schizoids that are uncomfortable or don't like harsh language directed at them, or a harsh tone, um, or you know, like a like a I don't know, shit talking tone. Maybe the tone. not actual like active signs of like disrespect, but I don't even know what that's another thing too. Like, how does a schizoid decide what is disrespectful to them? I know that for a lot of schizoids, it has more to do with is the person assuming my thoughts? Is the person attempting to fuck with my sense of autonomy? Like, stuff like that, I could see could be triggering to a lot of schizoids. So, like, actions of that kind. But just, like, rough language, cranky language, I don't get why the sensitivity would be there. And, like I said, maybe I'm just fucking built different. I don't know. I'm not saying, like, oh, yeah, I'm making really fucked up jokes, and, like, why is everyone mad? Like, I'm not talking stupid shit like that. I'm talking about, like, speaking about my ideas and thoughts on something in kind of the way that I do. It makes me uncomfortable just on a basic visceral level, but usually I don't care because I have sufficiently developed defensive mechanisms. Miyoski, what is the reason? Like, Miyoski, if like you were talking to me and you said, oh man, you know, you say something that like it is obviously, like, say, under your control, it's something you can control, and then I would say, well, why don't you, what's stopping you? Like, what's fucking stopping you? Get it done. Tell me the barriers. Let's talk about it. Is it like something real that you can't do shit about? Or is it just pussy shit? Like that. Right? I don't care if someone talks to me like that. The only time I don't like harsh language, or any language for that matter, is when it's directed at my children. Or me as a parent, or how I treat my children. Extremely well, by the way. But then again, that gets into the territory of somebody making assumptions about my motivations and efforts. That doesn't bother me at all. Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's harsh language. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like, or like somebody says, like, no, that's a, you know, retard level take on something. Right? Like, even if I say, have an opinion and somebody says that shit's retarded or that shit's stupid, that doesn't bother me. I'd be like, oh, okay, why is that shit stupid? What I said was really mild. Okay, I mean, that's the thing. Harsh language and just like intentionally malicious, like trying to hurt you type of like insult throwing, you know, stuff that's like that. I could see, I mean, when somebody insults me in a really harsh way, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. It's just like, it's funny. I'm just like, why are you mad, bro? Why are you so mad? Why are you mad? Right? Especially if it's something like somebody get heated because I have like an opinion they don't like about something. And they say, man, you're fucking stupid, man. I'd be like, okay, cool. Explain to me why I'm stupid. And let's continue talking. It doesn't bother me in the least. That's why it confused me. I've seen Zoids that, like, somebody says, like, that shit's fucking dumb, or something like that. And then the other person is like, I'm not going to sit here and be talked to like this. It's like, why do you care? Why does that bother you? And I'm not saying it can't or shouldn't. I'm saying I don't get it. I don't get it. My reaction to someone getting mad at me and getting like heated and using like mean language is to smile because it's funny. Because it doesn't hurt me. when some fucking, especially a rando on the internet does it, I guess it's mostly bothers me my sense of condescension, social posturing, animosity. Yeah, that's what I wonder. Like, I wonder also if, like, there's, like, assumptions being made about the other person that's using that kind of language, right? It's weird. I think part of it, too, is I'm 40, right? So I grew up on, like, shit like, you know, Counter-Strike, fucking Diablo, fucking just fucking harsh, brutal gamer shit world. You know, at the jokes, the memes, you know, Call of Duty lobbies, essentially. I grew up on that. I've been called every fucking thing possible. It's never bothered me. Especially if they know nothing about me. Then it's even funny. Right? And so maybe it is like this assumption that there's some kind of social posturing there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've just been trying to figure that out because I've seen it on the server. I've seen it like on the Reddit. I've just seen it happen where, like, I don't know, one Zoid has harsher language than the other one, and the other one thinks like, oh, this is getting nowhere. You're upset. And it's funny because, like, half the time the Zoid that's using the harsh language is not upset. They're just getting a little silly, right? A little bit silly. And of course, if the mods or something say, "Hey, chill," then you gotta chill a little bit. But I don't get why the other person gets so, like, offended or so upset. It doesn't really bother me if someone is really overtly being a dick because it's obvious everyone else that they're being a dick. Yeah, yeah, but like, if it's a room full of Zoids, why are they sitting around going, that person's being a real dick? If they are being a dick, then why don't they just call him, hey man, you're a dick? And then why don't the other people go like, man, this guy's being a dick? Like, hey, why are you being a dick, bro? Like, are you good? Who hurt you? Type shit. Like, I mean, that would be kind of a funny way to respond to it. Like, and then if they're being a dick, but they're not mad, right? Then what are they being? Like, what are they doing? Like, if you say some shit and then somebody's like, if somebody just says like, yo, that shit sounds like some mad crazy code, and you and I won't mind telling you, but like, why? But like if I tell somebody that shit's fucking massive code, and the response, I want the response to be, why, or explain why. Why is that shit code? Not get upset about somebody using the word cope, or copium, or I don't know, attacking the idea that you have as being like a bad shit idea. It's funny too, because some of the offense comes from calling the idea shit. It doesn't even always directly tie to the person being called shitty or shit. But I don't care about being called shitty. Because I know I'm not shitty. So I have like too many receipts showing me I'm not shitty. I got all the receipts. So why would someone telling me I'm shitty bother me? Or I'm being a shitty person, or that's a shitty thing to say. a while back there was someone on the server. They said a comment that I think was just supposed to be either, I don't know, self-deprecating or something, but I thought it was like kind of a shitty thing to say, like if you consider some context. And it was awesome because I said that's kind of a shitty thing to say because of this reason. And instead of getting upset or offended or getting on the defense, they said, yeah, that now that you said that, yeah, that was kind of shitty to thing to reference or say. And then I was like, cool, you get it. And that was it. I think personally I'm more sensitive than some people. I don't like to participate in banter or play insults and stuff. I don't know why. Like why? Like what's the underlying issue? But as long as I don't dish it, I generally don't have it thrown at me, so there's no problem. Dish it. Like, is it being actively seen as like an attack? Even if it's just banter? That's another thing too. Like I noticed some Zoids they cannot do banter. Or they don't take it well. And I find that confusing. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe internet politeness has like increased. I feel like it's increased far too much. Far too much. It's so sanitized. And another thing I find interesting is that like I feel, I don't know, this is the connection I was going to make. I feel like a lot of schizoids associate emotional language with like emotional hijacking of the person that's using it. Like there's a pressure to come up with a witty response or something. You don't have to come up with a witty response. You could just not care. Feels like that, or at least I'm forced. You don't have to socially posture. You just go like, You don't have the brain. You don't have the brain cells to just not like to just be like, I'm not doing it. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to make a joke. You don't need a comeback. Um, and if somebody expects that from you, then fuck 'em. Who cares? Usually, I won't banter with somebody that's just like not. If somebody's not bantering back in any way, then I usually just like, or they're just not reacting. But anyway. Oh, let me click on this one. Ooh, Baba Yaga. That's a good one. But yeah, I can't for the life of me figure out the issue. The moment one insulty sounding thing gets lobbed, some Zoids like just duck out. And like I was saying, I think it's because of that sort of association that harsh or emotional sounding language is like is really, it's like too emotional, and so now you don't want to deal with it. It's like, oh, you're obviously getting emotional, I don't want to deal with this anymore, right? But harsh language doesn't necessarily tie with like strong emotion. It's just a use of language, of emphasis. And so because even if you say okay, people can interpret it weirdly. Yeah, yeah, right. Normal people, I don't interpret it weirdly. I just hear that shit and go, all right, I guess that they're not into that. That's cool. Like they think that's boring. They think banter. They're either not interested in it, or they think it's boring, or it's just something. But what I'm wondering is, or some Zoids carrying over the assumptions they have about the average person they've had to mask around and interact with, because there's all these like, are they carrying that information over to like Zoid land? because it's so ingrained, it's so like part of your like defense network system thing. Because a lot of the time when I see a schizoid get kind of like not sensitive, but get like shut down from it, it feels like it's coming from a place of, oh, obviously there's no, like, I can't speak to you anymore, you're too emotional, and my big brain is moving beyond, transcending beyond this and leaving now. um which I could understand that kind of thinking coming from from like I guess like more normie spaces and stuff. I don't actually think Zoids are always that different from normies as much as they pretend to be. Yeah, that's what well, that's what I'm. Well, I don't think they pretend to be. Trust, but I'm wondering, like, are the reasons the same? Like for the offense or the having an issue with it? Like I could see maybe there's a very different reason. Like maybe they have behaviors they're very seemingly conventional, but there's like the reasoning behind why they find it troublesome or bothersome is different. The assumptions or the associations they've created in their minds with those things. Like if I was talking to somebody and I had an opinion and I said no, like disagree, bad take, and that person says, like, what do you mean bad take? What do you mean, like, what's wrong with it? Like, you know, they're getting like that. My brain goes to like I think it's funny, but then I go like, oh wow, this is not getting anywhere. Like they're like mad already. Oh shit. Okay. But if like the response was, tell me, what do you mean bad take? I'm curious. I tell them. If they disagree, tell me why, or just agree to disagree. But I don't get the insult part of that. You're disrespecting me, bro. What? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is it like it's the associations to that stuff, right? I don't know. It's weird. Like, I'm not saying like Zoids. Oh, Zoids are just not disrespectful enough to people. Like, I mean, honestly, yeah, they're not disrespectful enough to people that don't deserve respect. That's true. But I feel like a lot of Zoids are too. I don't know. They like overextend on the politeness sometimes, and I'm wondering where it's stemming from, where it's coming from. I don't want to believe that they're just fragile. My one part of my brain goes there. One part of my brain goes, because that's the more like I guess like a misanthropic or frustrated part of my brain. It goes like is everyone just being like a pussy? What is this? But then another part of my brain goes, oh wait, is this something else? Is this like it's an association they've created? Harsh language equals emotion, no people, aversive, thus harsh language. I want to exit the conversation because usually it's running in conjunction with like too much emotionality coming from the person or hostility. I want to believe it's something more like that. Because the reason I want to believe that is because schizoids are very conflict avoidant. But the reason they're conflict avoidant is very different than, say, somebody that's an anxious avoidant that's conflict avoidant, right? The reason schizoids, from my understanding and experience, that they're conflict avoiding, because they don't want to deal with all the shit that it comes with, all the social issues, all the expectations, all this pile of stuff that comes with generating conflict with people. So they may actively just avoid people to avoid conflict, or they will put up a persona of being agreeable, even if they absolutely disagree, because they just don't want to deal with the conflict, because they don't have a horse in that race, right? Their ego isn't tied to winning the conflict. Their sense of self is tied to being left alone and not wanting to be involved in conflict in which they have no stake. So I'm wondering if it's that association. Harsh language, impolite language equals conflict equals things I don't want to deal with. I find it especially interesting if it's on the internet. Because what do you have to worry about? You just block people. You just don't talk to them anymore. They're not like a family member. They're not like your coworker. They're just some fucking random, some anon on the fucking internet. The hell do you care? I don't understand. Like, I understand why a lot of regular people care about that stuff, because they're like bringing over their sensitivities regarding social things onto the internet. But like, why do Zoids care? That's weird to me. And like I said, maybe a lot of Zoids are like that, and I'm just fucking weird. Maybe I'm just extra weird. I don't know. I know a few people like me about this kind of subject, these kinds of things. And a lot of them have, like, either enjoy it because it's fun, or they have a general sort of indifference to it. Like why would, if another Zoid asks, like, hey, do you think, was I being the asshole? You know, those kinds of things. Was I being the asshole here? Like, why would you say, well, like, in your head you think, yeah, you're being an asshole, but you go, oh, well, you know, it's a complicated question, there's a lot of bit and like stuff, and like, oh, well, maybe this, maybe that, blah blah blah. Like, they're trying to like fucking put a pillow on that shit. Is it because of like, is it because a lot of schizoids have been trained to avoid conflict? Like, have we been trained to like sugarcoat? Have we been trained to like temper our bluntness by the world we inhabited? And now we carry over these like vestigial things into a space where it doesn't have to exist? I don't know. It's interesting. I found myself doing it at times too. And I'll have thoughts in my head like, oh, I better say it like this, because it's gonna be a problem if I don't say it like all nice, like all fancy, like all pretty, like. But am I doing it and I don't have to? And when I don't do it and it causes a problem, is it because they think that I've entered the realm of conflict when I haven't? Like, there's been people even on the server that have said stuff that I'm like, what a dumb fuck take regarding something I said or did. Dumb. And I'll make a comment like, oh, that is a shit take. Like, what are you doing? I've done that before. Do you think that after I get annoyed by something, I'm gonna like hold some fucking lifetime grudge against you? At worst, I'm just gonna be like, I don't like talking to you. You're annoying. So I just won't talk to you. That's it. I don't think about you. No, you know, every time I see your name, I'm thinking, oh. Like, there's been times where I find myself not being as actively honest about how something is annoying me as I want to be. Is that my training? Is this a psyop? And then when I like ignore that weird compulsion to try to temper certain things because I've had to most of my life, and I'm talking to another Zoid, it generally goes well, pretty well. I mean, sometimes it doesn't go so well because, you know, I don't know why. I don't feel bad if someone gets bothered by the way I said something. I feel bad if I say something like haphazardly that's incorrect and hurtful to someone. Right? It's fucking with certain specific sensitivities or something like that. I would feel bad about doing that. My tone, not really. I don't understand why that matters in that kind of space. And I'm not saying everyone should just be all like, no, like some of us are like that. Some of us are more like have a little more etiquette, and that's okay. It's all welcome. I don't get offended by people's language, but I do get uncomfortable. Like, well, yeah, I already wrote that part. Yeah, so I think about this for yourselves. Think about it internally. Do you care, or are you just trying to avoid what is the conflict you're always trying to avoid? Like they sound like red flags of conflict, and you don't want to deal with it because it's boring and stupid. Some conflict's good, by the way. Not all conflict is bad. That's another thing, man, I got to talk about with Zoids. It drives me crazy. They avoid conflict so much that they won't participate in conflict that they honestly should be participating in. And some of that conflict would include like defending themselves against you know, something malicious. Or defending something, but they're trying to avoid conflict, so they stay quiet. I think avoiding conflict so much, it is bad, no matter your reason. It doesn't matter if it's anxiety, it doesn't matter if it's frustration, it doesn't matter if where it's coming from. If it's coming from a place of deep hurt, or if it's coming from a place of just utter frustration of like not wanting to deal with the consequences of that conflict, depending on what you perceive to be the consequence or the major issues of consequence. I think living like that is shit. It's bad. It's not good for you, in my opinion, at all. I mean, I know I did some of that shit, especially in my 20s. It brought me nothing but harm. And I understand spaces in which you have to, right? Work, bosses, teachers. Okay. That might have monetary consequences. So you manage. But if we don't care about a lot of what social consequences are, why do we care about, like, couldn't you just like ignore half the things? are you actually feeling bad that someone got insulted by you not showing enough, like, positive expression in your tone? If they get mad at you, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Unless they're, like, in some weird position of power. What, they're gonna get mad and send you a mean text? You don't even care. It's gonna be awkward? What does that mean? Why is it awkward? Why is it awkward? What's awkward about it? What can awkward do to you? How can awkward hurt you? Is it going to come out of the screen and slap you? Awkward? And trust me, I'm not going to say I'm absolutely never been in my whole life prone to some of these things. I've done some of these things. And it's just, I'm coming more and more and more to realize, why do I fucking bother? In places where there are no consequences, monetary or I don't know, the fear of getting beat up or something, which makes sense, right? There's no physical threat. There's no monetary threat. So what am I doing? So anyway, yeah, think about it. Do you find yourself being overly polite? Do you find yourself sugarcoating far too much when you don't have to? Do you find yourself not speaking up when you want to because of conflict you're trying to avoid? Because, oh no, because the space or it'll get awkward. What does awkward mean for you? Is awkward like, oh, now this place is going to be like, there's going to be like all this social fallout I don't want to like even like interact with or navigate? Is that what awkward means? Because I doubt awkward means, oh no, I'm in the room with somebody that doesn't like me. I really don't think that's what somebody means by awkward. Well, schizoids, I mean by awkward. Oh no, I don't like being in the same room as someone that actively doesn't like me. Why do you care? Gives a shit. I doubt you care that much if people like you, so comes with the whole, indifference thing when it comes to some of these things. What's your horse in this race? And if you don't have an answer, think about it. And I'd like to know. Maybe the reasons are similar to what they used to be for me in many ways. I don't know. That's your ramble of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. So moving on to the thing that I said I was going to just save toward the end. Okay. This is where everyone's going to go, wow, Inks, you're real schizo, huh, buddy? Well, yeah, I consider myself on that spectrum. But check this. I was born in 1984. I don't like being in a room with someone who doesn't like me. That's what's interesting. Why? Right? Because I feel like with schizoids, the why would be because there's a chance of conflict, and I don't want to deal with conflict because it's annoying, and I get nothing out of it, and I don't care if I win or lose. I just don't want to deal with it. That's kind of like, if that's the reason, that makes sense to me. Sometimes the fallout makes situations more complex than I can easily deal with. Yeah. Well, you can eat yourself out of some of those webs, but like, you know, just fuck it. But yeah, that's what I mean. There could be good reasons. I used to think I didn't care, but eventually realized I was disassociating from my feeling as a defense mechanism. Disassociating from what feeling? The only reason I can think of why I don't want to be in a room with someone that doesn't like me is because of, like, the possibility of them being, like, acting stupid. And if I'm in a room with somebody I don't like, I just ignore them. Like, I don't make an effort to talk to them. End of story. But I don't feel bad about being in the room with someone that doesn't like me because they don't like me. Like, why? I'm not disassociating from it. I legitimately don't give a fuck. So anyway. Oh yeah, so the thing that happened. Okay, so I was born in 1984. There you go. Yes, because chance of... That's what I'm talking about. Yep. See? 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 It's like a trained behavior. Everything always circles back to childhood and how I learned to best get people, family to leave me alone, or at least limit harassment, persecution, invasion. Yeah, see? And that's what I mean. Like, so is that why some Zoids... I'm not saying you guys, but, like, some Zoids are, like, so conflict averse that they don't even like when somebody uses harsh language because they have an assumption that there's, like, all this emotion and stuff behind it. And so they want to just, like, they get, like, averse to it. Like, oh, shit. Oh, no. This is emotional conflict, right? This is... this looks like emotional conflict. I don't want to be a part of this. Right? Like, maybe they're doing that. I doubt they're, like, leaving all mad and being like, can't believe he talked to me like that. And who the fuck does he think he is? Like, I couldn't relate to that in the least. Yeah, turning into something worse. Yeah. So then just like, it's just like a visceral, like, get away from it. Right? It's interesting. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something like that. And maybe I'm just not, like, I don't have, like, I think I used to have that sensitivity, but as I got older and I learned of myself and shit, and worked out a lot of my Zoid shit, like, through age, I just progressively stopped caring about the conflict some of these things cause. The only time I care is, like, obviously, like, wife and kids. That one I still have to, like, I know, like, I can't. People are sensitive to certain types of speaking and exchange. And that's normal for everyone, and I can respect that. I can be okay with that. But if it's just strangers and they actively do something annoying or fucked up, I don't care about avoiding conflict. In fact, my wife cares, but I don't, so I won't participate because they ask me not to. And sometimes I'll bargain. I'll say, all right, I'll just say this. I won't say it like that bad. All right? And they'll be like, okay. Or there's been times where, like, my wife's like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm like, oh, I'll be the bad guy. Like, I'll take that up. I'll be like, I'll be the bad guy. That's cool. Like, I'll be the person that shows up and complains. Like, that's fine. Like, if my wife wants, like, is pissed about a bill or, like, a rip-off of some kind, she'll be like, hey, can you call? I'll be like, yeah. No problem. My experience is there's something in his emotion behind it, even though it's down to care, and it can have consequences later. I don't know what the emotions... I'm not pretending not to care. I really don't. And before I used to care because of the reason that you mentioned, that I don't want to deal with the consequences of having to cater to some person's like sensitivity to like being someone being too blunt or too honest or too direct about their opinion or some shit like that. I don't know. And like I guess I'm just more and more uninterested in having to navigate any of that shit. I just don't. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's a combination of me working on my Zoid shit that's, you know, significantly improved. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, so I'm getting tired. Or I've gone through enough experiences to see that the consequences aren't even that bad. I get an upset message. I get an upset phone call. Hang up. I don't care. Yeah, it depends on the person and circumstance. Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not saying I go around being a fucking asshole. There's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying actively try to be hostile toward people. Obviously, you gotta pick and choose situations, and you gotta be smart about it. If I wasn't masking politeness, my family and people would tend to then scapegoat me, judge, reject, punish, be based on assumptions, projection, discomfort around me being myself. That's why a lot of Zoids, like they move out and they get a job and they check out, and then they just kind of like estranged. Their family becomes estranged to them. Very common situation. Because like they just got burnt out on having to cater to all these sensitivities that they don't possess in the same way. And it's also especially bad because like you have sensitivities that are not conventional ones, but everyone's just fucking stepping all over those, no matter what you say or do. And you're still expected to respect all their fucking sensitivities, right? So yeah, that resentment builds over time, and then you're just like, fuck this, I'm done, I'm out. And also depends on how much like game's been ingrained into you, because of like, especially if you have like more like manipulative parents, like narky parents that like just kept pushing you, like kept insisting you were a bad object, and you got gaslit into it. Shit, I keep forgetting. Okay, so anyway, I was born in 1984. This is the third time I've said this. And by the time I was 5 or 6, I was in like kindergarten and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you guys have seen this on the internet, talked about or whatever, but I was like one of those GATE kids. GATE, G-A-T-E, gifted and talented, blah blah blah, education. And in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a lot of weird shit going. Yes, like literal psyop shit, right? And this isn't like some half-baked conspiracy. No, there's receipts. You can get the FOIA stuff. It's available on the internet. You can read it. You can see the documentation. And I think it's a consequence of like Cold War era type shit. But essentially, the GATE program was also kind of being tied up with some of the ideas that came from stuff like Project Stargate, which was like the belief that astral projection could be like militarized or like used for espionage. And so because the Russians were like testing this stuff, our intelligence, even if they thought, nah, that's bullshit, they still went like, but what if it's not? What if it's not bullshit and they get an edge, right? And so the CIA did a lot of weird shit because of that reason, because of that like damage mitigating reason of like, but what if, and then we don't have the edge and the Russians do, or China does, right? And so they used to test all the kids. And they used to make them do like, sometimes it was little cryptogram things. weird little games of thumbs up, 7 up, weird like just homework that wasn't like the normal standard stuff. It was like something like, oh, we're having like a little test, and like some person shows up, and there's some kind of like federal employee, and then they like do a little test to make it fun, right? And then they look at the results, right? And then but based on the documents, it wasn't just like, oh, because it wasn't just, and this would already be pretty shit as it is. It wasn't like, well, we want to find all the really smart kids so that eventually we can like turn them into assets, right? That is definitely part of it, 100%. What they were trying to do. Can we find children that are highly intelligent, malleable, and just essentially easy to control? And if that's the case, then yeah, we want to groom, like the government wanted to groom children, to gifted children. That's what they wanted to do. They want to groom gifted children into becoming assets. Okay? Pretty fucked up shit. But it is also tied to this kind of weird psychic fucking astral projection type testing. That's in the receipts. Now, does that make this stuff real or valid? No. It just means that the US government had some goofy ideas, and we're worried that some of those goofy ideas were going to be used as a weapon, if in fact they were real. And I was one of those kids that did well in some of this testing. Not the psychical testing stuff, but like the regular testing. I was a talented, gifted child. I was super smart kid. Super traumatized kid, but smart. And I remember, and a lot of people remember, doing weird shit, like going into a little van and putting on some headphones. There are those headphones that go the boop, beep, boop, boop. You know, they test your hearing. I'm not talking about just that. It was like that, but it was like saying like subliminal weird message shit. Like, we will open your mind. And like just weird meditation stuff. Like it was like weird, like meditative fucking recordings. And before that too, they used to like, right, for some reason, right? Why would you need to do it? Now, they would give you like what they called was a fluoride drink. It was pink. It tasted weird. And they would make you drink it and say it was for your teeth. And now they were going to test your hearing. And then you do the thing, and then you'd be hearing like these meditation things. Not the beep boop beeps. I have vague memories of that stuff. Like super vague, weird. Real like I can't, like you would think I could. I have a lot of memories as a kid of the stuff I liked or enjoyed. It could be a combination of indifference. I probably just approached it like I did any other thing that they made me do in school, which was like, oh, okay, what's the next thing I don't want to do? What's the next thing I have to do that I don't want to do? Oh, you want me to put on these headphones and listen to this guy talk, and you want me to drink this thing that you say is good for my teeth and tastes shitty? Whatever. I guess, I mean, whatever. And then I would just do it. So it could be that. Some people think that the drink itself is it had a light dosage of sodium pentanol, I think it's called, which they use in MK Ultra. But it basically like fucks with your memory, like your short-term memory stuff. So your memory of like whatever happens after that for like a little while is going to be kind of foggy later. Okay, anyway, so I have these memories. I have memories of being tested with weird cards, and I, as a child, had a lot of sleep issues. So many sleep issues. Night terrors. I was pissing the bed till well over the age of a kid that like is little and just pees the bed. This was more like traumatized child pissing the bed. Um, I had like invasive images that would hit my mind, and so I had to actively like I would attempt to like self-soothe by like bumping my head against my pillow at night. Um, there's some stuff my mom told me that I'm like, Jesus. Apparently, like I had a monster that actively was attacking me every night in my nightmares, and eventually I defeated it. That monster still pops up. More of just like a darkness. But now I fight it. Every time I see it in my dreams, I just want to run toward it. It's scary, but I don't give a fuck. I'm angry at it. So I don't know if it's the same thing. I used to cover myself with a blanket and imagine that I had some kind of energy that I could expound, push out of myself to keep the aliens from or demons from reading my mind or getting in my dreams. And it was a lot of self-soothing because I didn't have parents that could understand these concerns. And so I had to teach myself how to soothe these like nightmarish things in my mind, these fears. And it's weird that I was also part of the GATE program, and I was also like have these weird memories as a kid. At the same time, I have all these memories of just all this night terror shit. And mind you, some of this stuff was both before and after I got diddled by the neighbor. So it's not all that. That just added to the pile of shit. I'm not going to get into that part. So it kind of fucked with me pretty badly. Because the reason it fucked with me is because it's another one of those things of like, cool, my autonomy is in question. Like how much of like, because I for most of my life have had an active interest in intelligence agencies and /X type stuff, paranormal shit. I always grew up with it. I loved it as a kid. I watched it all. Government conspiracy stuff. Like I grew up with it. I loved it. And then I'm like, cool, was that a choice? Or was me being tested on in weird shit like that, like part of it is a consequence? Like, what if they were giving me weird drinks for things to enhance my cognitive abilities or make my memories foggy for certain types of testing? I don't know. But it's scary. And it's confusing. And if you think I sound crazy, I'm not the only person around my age or in their 30s that has weird memories of this kind of stuff, especially if they were one of those gifted kids. And what's fucked is that based on the documents regarding this stuff, the children they were most interested in were children that had that were really intelligent but had learning disabilities. They thought like those kids were like more like likely to have these like some kind of abilities or something crazy. And so a lot of the people that got really like targeted more testing wise throughout their school time were autists, ADHD kids, that's me, schizoid, weird, idiosyncratic thinking type kids, also me. So if you had a combination of like this kind of learning disability, but also you showed a significant degree of intelligence, like ahead of your like classmates, you would be, they'd fucking hone in right on that. You'd be the person they wanted to test the most. So I don't know. And then you tie this to when I was in like kindergarten, my mom pulled me out of the school I was in because she was scared because somebody told her that this kind of testing, that the government's going to take her kid. And my mom's like from Costa Rica, didn't speak a lick of English. She heard that shit, freaked out. But she thought she got me out of there, and there was like no more weird tests and stuff for the smart kids. They didn't stop. They just wouldn't report this stuff back to the parents. They weren't telling the parents this stuff. These extra little tests, there was no notice that went home. I even told my mom, I'm like, do you have any memories of like all this stuff? Like, do you remember me getting home and going like, hey mom, they made me drink this weird thing and they made me listen to weird audio and look at these weird cards. And they maybe kept trying to guess what was on them without looking at them. It was weird. Like, did I ever get home and tell you that, mom? And she's like, no. So I told her nothing weird. She's like, no, only that stuff when you were in kinder and I pulled you out and that was that, right? I'm like, nope, that wasn't that. But what's fucked is because memories are so foggy that before I learned more about the GATE program and papers came out on it and stuff and its association, I always thought these were just false memories or just like me being a weird schizo and having like weird like thoughts and me integrating fiction into like my memories because my sense of identity was all fucked up and foggy and my memories were already kind of shot to shit because of that. I always thought, oh, it's just probably shit in my head. But to have it confirmed is a fucked up feeling. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Oh, I should probably add that to the title. That was a lot. So yeah. Weird childhood. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for being here. If you enjoyed the streams, I'll get back to the more Zoidy specific stuff, but today I did cover some of that, just questions and stuff. But I'm gonna get back to the Tuesdays and the Saturday streams and all that. I'm gonna be working, and any support you guys have helped me with. I know one or two of you were like, "Here's a little extra" because you're going through tough times. I really fucking appreciate that shit, like, a lot. But you know, I don't know what else to say about that. Thank you. Okay. Well, leave comments. You lurkers that just watch this as a VOD, leave comments, please. I like the feedback. It's legitimately interesting. Okay. Let's see you streaming again. Oh yeah, for sure, Duck. As usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day. Ooh, just caught that one.